I'm not looking for rings. It's literally the classic Sonic, Sky Sanctuary. What is it, 130 I need to clear this at? Oh my god, stop that. Nice. No, it literally is Sonic Generations. Anyway, this is my one problem with the game, and I'm going to talk about it. And I know it's this early on, but I think it should be said. In short, I think the cyberspace levels, they're not terrible levels. The problem is that they're not terrible levels because they're all recycled. They're all just recycled levels from like Generations or Forces, right? So that's why it feels familiar, because it's literally like the same levels. They're literally an afterthought. The layout of the levels, Shungo Kusatsu's, are lifted straight from Generations. Modern Generations Green Hill Zone, it's lifted from that. Modern Generation City Escape, it's lifted from that. What I just played is 1-1 Sky Sanctuary. Or 2-1 rather. I forget if you would call it that. It's literally 2-1 classic version of Sky Sanctuary, except you play as Modern Sonic on a 2D plane. You know, I'm happy that they decided to use good levels. You get what I'm saying? Like, use good levels. You get what I'm saying? Use good levels. My issue is when I have to play with the shitty Forces, the Hedgehog Engine 2, if that's what they call it. That's my problem. And I never played Forces because I hate Forces. Everybody hated Forces. And I see why. Because, literally, if I try to do anything with the game's physics, the game just fucks me. If I try to do Lightspeed Dash, my momentum is halted completely. If I try to do homing attack, my momentum is halted completely. And that might be nice for the exploration aspect. It works well in the open world because I'm not going to notice it, because I get like 400 rings and I'm able to just blast off and not even care because my speed is too high. Or, on the other aspect of it, it's like I want to halt my momentum to see where I'm at on the map and then boost, right? Because the boost in this game, like Forces probably, has you going up. You don't go forward. The rules that they have in place too is another thing, right? You cannot do the same air action twice when you're in the air. Meaning that once you land on the ground, your air actions reset. So that means that whatever you were doing in the air stops, including boost. Which means you don't get to keep running forward after you do boost, because the game is trying to say like, hey, like, you just landed on the ground. We have to refresh your air actions. That's what that tells me anyway. So, in short, this is all great for exploration. The mechanics work great for exploration. They suck in cyberspace. They suck when it comes to actually playing Sonic. You know what I'm saying? Like the Sonic levels. That's why. That's why most of my game time has been in the open world, because the open world is the main game to me. The cyberspace stages are bare bones as a result. Like, the red rings are usually like rings that are supposed to like unlock extra content in other Sonic games. But in this game, it's like it's an added goal to get an extra vault key. So they just scattered them everywhere within the short level, because they're only like minute-long levels. So, because they're not incentivizing you to do the cyberspace stages. The main incentive of this game is the open world, and to just run around and just have fun playing as Sonic in the open world. And I think that aspect is good, But I feel like if this is the whole game, it's a pretty mid experience. I think the game is super fun in the open world. That is Sonic Frontiers. That is this game. But when it comes to being like a Sonic game, right? I don't know why they keep trying to reinvent the wheel. Just fucking have actual Sonic levels. Make some Sonic. Don't just lift it from other games. Give me the fucking regular ass like Sonic levels. The full length 2-minute time Sonic levels, you know? I mean, that you could probably beat in like 30 seconds if you're a speedrunner. That's what I'm talking about. Not these like short ass bite-sized stages that like are literally just like snippets of the old games. Like if I want to play Generations, I'm gonna go play Generations. That's what that is. And I'll play Generations with a better engine than the engine that this game gives me. You know what I'm saying? Like I'd rather go do that. So that's my gripe. That right there is my gripe. That is my gripe with the game. But the world, like this, oh, this is the game. This is it. This is the game. This is what you paid the money for. This is what you paid $60 for. This. Doing this. And playing with Sonic's speed and all of his abilities in this. I think that's perfect. That's fine. The fights are cool. Like, the boss fights are cool. The mini-boss fights are cool. Roaming around the world, doing tricks, and collecting things is cool. My only problem is when it comes to the puzzles, right? I swear to God, we just finished that level. I swear to God, if I see one more of those, like, running around the squares to, like, light them up again right next to the last one I just did, I'm gonna have a problem. If I see one more of the race to the fucking triangle symbol in, like, 70 seconds again, I'm gonna have a problem, right? Because I just finished doing 3 of the same puzzle before doing that stage. So if I do another one of those puzzles again, we're gonna have problems. We're gonna have problems. Because that means that they didn't think that far ahead when it came to designing the puzzles for each of the portals of the game. They didn't think about adding newer and fresher puzzles to do. And maybe that will be the case as I go later on in the game, that they'll have like 1 or 2 new puzzles sprinkled in. But a majority of them are recycled. And that to me is annoying when unlocking the portals, right, for fast travel. So that is a problem too. But really and truthfully, this game is just you playing as Sonic, running around in an open world, playing around with his tricks and fighting bosses and trying the combat system. I think they have something good with that. But they need to stop using the fucking Hedgehog Engine 2. Or just make a Hedgehog Engine 3, which gives back some of the momentum from previous games. And I know that people on Twitter maybe will talk about this shit and be like, yo, well, it's a good game. We don't have to care about Sonic walking up a whole ass loop with no momentum and no speed, right? We could talk about that and then be like, oh, but the game is still good though, right? No, because that feeling of speed is what people like about Sonic, right? That losing that is so annoying. It's so annoying because I get working for your speed too to go through levels so proper platforming is established, but the thing about Sonic was you platformed fast. Like, you went through a level fast. That was what was cool about Sonic. And you had to replay the level several times so that way you could get good at doing that level enough to be fast enough to S-rank the level. At least that's what I thought. That's why Sonic Mania was such a good game. It was made by people who knew what Sonic was. Christian Whitehead and the rest of them. They knew what Sonic was about working for your speed and trying out the levels and redoing them over and over until you understood the layout and then did them and then was really nice at it, right? And you didn't have to do that to beat the game, but it was really good because it gave you the option, right? And that option is not present here. That option has not been present in a modern Sonic game for quite some time. It's just been you hold to boost or you get this weird amalgamation that's not Sonic to me, you know? And that is where people will complain. Is this a bad game? No, it's not a bad game. This is not a bad game. By long stretches of the word, this is not a bad game. But to me as a Sonic fan, it is still like whatever, you know? It's like they didn't do bad, but they didn't do good. And I heard that people said the same thing about Sonic Forces. That it's whatever, right? It was whatever. And a lot of the diehard Sonic fans don't like the actual Hedgehog Engine 2 that they continue to use here. So I think that is the issue. And I don't know why, after so many years of being a Sonic fan, I didn't play Forces. I didn't play Forces. I did not like Forces. I heard that people didn't like Forces, and I'm seeing from here it was good. It was a good thing that I stayed away, because they tried to refine what they had, but it's still not great, you know. As a regular consumer, would you buy this game? Yeah, it's a good game. It's a good game. It's a good game. All things considered, it's a good game. It's a better game if you didn't play Generations. It's a better game if you didn't play Generations. If you did play Generations, though, which I'm very sure 99% of people play Sonic Generations, because that game was actually one of the best Sonic games that ever released in the modern era. No cap. If you didn't play Sonic Generations, this game is even more fun for you. If you did, then you're going to start to notice that they reused a lot of things. That's my overall thoughts about the game. Island. 2 levels or 2 maps in, 2 islands in, because clearly this island to me is almost done. I just have to do all the story beats, and that's it. And that's another thing. I'm not going to talk about the story until I beat it. Maybe I'll, like, talk about this in, like, another, like, aspect or another vid or whatever. But you're trying to connect the dots to figure out how you can get out of cyberspace, out of this area. So I guess that's the theme. So, sure. You know, and in an open world type of game like this, it would fit. So I understand their motive for that, or what they wanted to do. So yeah, you're basically collecting the cinematics, and I did not like that. I did not like that about Breath of the Wild, and I definitely don't like that about this. But I understand why they're doing it. So